My name is Eddie Harlow, and I've always prided myself on being observant. 20 years in construction teaches you to notice when something's off. A crooked beam, a foundation crack, a wife who suddenly started caring about her appearance after 15 years of sweatpants and Netflix. It's 3 in the morning, and I'm sitting in my kitchen with a cup of coffee that's gone cold twice already. Insomnia's been my companion for weeks now, ever since Sloane started her networking phase. That's what she calls it, networking. Like staying out until midnight 3 times a week is somehow advancing her real estate career. The house creaks around me, our old craftsman settling into another Maine winter. I built half the additions myself, turned this place into something worth having. Sloane used to appreciate that. Used to appreciate me, for that matter. Her laptop sits open on the counter, forgotten in her rush to bed after another client dinner. The screensaver dances across the monitor, photos of us from better times. I reach over to close it, being the considerate husband, when I notice a document minimized in the taskbar. Our future, 5-year plan. Now, Sloane's never been much for planning beyond what shoes match her outfit, so this catches my attention. I glance toward the stairs, listening for movement. Nothing but her soft snoring drifts down. I click the document open. What I read makes my coffee taste like battery acid. Phase 1. Establish emotional distance. Make Eddie feel inadequate about his career prospects. Push for improvements he can't afford. Phase 2. Create financial dependency. Get pregnant, or fake it if necessary. Move into joint accounts. Build case for alimony. Phase 3. Document emotional neglect and lack of ambition. Gather evidence of his drinking problem. Encourage social outings. Photograph. Phase 4. Exit strategy. File for separation. Claim half of house value. Ongoing support. Eddie's too nice to fight dirty. Timeline. Tokens. 18 months maximum. Derek thinks we can be living together by next Christmas. Derek, the mortgage broker with the least Tesla and the personality of wet cardboard. I should have known. My hands shake as I scroll through more details. She's cataloged my habits, my weaknesses, even my jokes about her networking, like they're evidence of something sinister. Every kind gesture I've made is twisted into manipulation. Every time I've tried to be supportive is painted as controlling behavior. But here's the thing about being underestimated your whole life. You learn to pay attention. And right now, I'm paying very close attention to the fact that my wife of 8 years has been planning to destroy me with the same methodical precision I used to frame a house. I forward the document to my personal email, then to my lawyer's office. Then I save copies to 3 different flash drives I keep in my workshop. Finally, I clear the browser history and close everything exactly as I found it. When Sloane stumbles into the kitchen 20 minutes later, I'm reading yesterday's paper like nothing happened. "You're up early," she mumbles, reaching for the coffee pot. "Couldn't sleep, you know how it is." I fold the paper carefully. "Anything interesting on your laptop last night? Looked like you were working pretty late." She freezes for just a moment, barely perceptible unless you're watching for it. "Just client stuff. Boring real estate forms." She forces a smile. "You should get some rest, honey. You look tired." "Honey?" When did she start calling me honey again? Yeah, maybe you're right. I stand, stretching like I'm just another middle-aged guy with a sore back. "Big day tomorrow. We're pouring foundation for the Morrison project." She nods absently, already focused on her phone. Probably texting Derek about their next meeting. As I head upstairs, I'm already planning. See, Sloane made one critical error in her assessment. She's right that I'm too nice to fight dirty under normal circumstances. But these aren't normal circumstances anymore. And she's about to learn that 20 years of construction work teaches you more than just how to build things. It also teaches you how to tear them down. The next few weeks pass in a strange sort of performance. Sloane plays the devoted wife exploring new opportunities, and I play the oblivious husband who doesn't notice the changes. But I notice everything now. The new lingerie receipts mixed in with her business expenses. The way she angles her phone away when texting. The sudden interest in working late on Wednesdays and Fridays. Derek's schedule, according to the mortgage office website. I start spending more time at the sandbar after work, nursing beers and listening to Gloria, the bartender, who knows everyone's business in our little corner of Maine. Gloria's been pouring drinks here for 15 years, and she collects gossip like some people collect stamps. "Your wife's been making quite an impression downtown," she mentions one Thursday, wiping down glasses with practiced efficiency. "Oh yeah? How so?" "Just noticed her around more." Usually with that mortgage guy. Derek something. Faust, I think. She gives me a look that says she knows exactly what she's implying. They seem friendly. I take a long pull from my beer. Well, she's always been social. Part of the business, you know. Sure, Gloria nods. Business. That night, I'm pretending to be asleep when Sloane comes home at 11:30. She moves quietly, but not quietly enough to hide the shower she takes before sliding into bed. She smells like different soap, something expensive and masculine. Friday morning, she leaves her phone on the bathroom counter while she showers. I've been waiting for this opportunity for days. The text messages paint a picture that makes my stomach turn. Not just the affair, I'd already accepted that reality, but the casual cruelty of it. They mock me in their messages. Derek calls me the handyman. Sloane refers to me as the project. There's a photo that stops me cold. It's Sloane, in our bedroom, wearing lingerie I've never seen. The angle shows our wedding photo on the nightstand behind her. I forward everything to my email and delete the evidence of my snooping. My hands are steadier than I expected. The shower shuts off. I slip the phone back exactly where I found it and head downstairs to make coffee like nothing happened. Morning, beautiful, I say when she appears in the kitchen, hair wrapped in a towel. She smiles, the same smile she used to give me when it meant something. Morning. I might be late tonight again. Big client presentation. Of course, I'll probably grab dinner with the crew anyway. Mike's been wanting to try that new place on Harbor Street. Sounds fun. She's already checking her phone, probably reading Derek's good morning message. After she leaves for work, I install a small GPS tracker under her car seat. Nothing fancy, just a magnetic unit I picked up online. If she's going to lie about her whereabouts, I might as well know the truth. That evening at the sandbar, Gloria slides an extra napkin across the bar with my beer. Written on it in her careful handwriting, Motel 6 on Route 1, Wednesday and Friday afternoons. I look up at her. She's already moved on to another customer, but she catches my eye and nods slightly. Thanks, I say quietly, pocketing the napkin. My phone buzzes with a text from Sloane. Presentation running long, don't wait up. I check the GPS app. She's been stationary at Derek's apartment complex for 2 hours. Big Mike slides onto the stool next to me, still covered in sawdust from the job site. You look like someone stole your lunch money, Eddie. Just thinking about real estate, I say. Funny how some people can't close a deal to save their lives. Mike laughs, not understanding the double meaning. Tell me about it. My ex-wife couldn't close a screen door in a windstorm. I raise my beer in a mock toast. To ex-wives and their questionable skills. I'll drink to that, Mike says, clinking his bottle against mine. But I'm not toasting ex-wives. I'm toasting the future ex-wife, who doesn't know she's about to become one. And I'm toasting the plan that's been forming in my mind, piece by careful piece, like a blueprint for something that's going to be very satisfying to build. Derek Faust drives a white Tesla Model 3 that he leases for more than I make in a month. I know this because I've been watching him, learning his patterns the same way I study a construction site before breaking ground. He parks in the same spot at his apartment complex every day. He gets his coffee at the same place every morning. He's predictable in the way that arrogant people often are, so convinced of their own cleverness that they never consider someone might be paying attention. It's a Tuesday when I make my first move. Sloane thinks I'm at the Morrison job site, but I've taken a personal day. I wait in my truck across from Derek's apartment until I see them both go inside around 2 p.m. The Tesla sits there like a monument to everything Derek thinks makes him better than guys like me. I walk over casually, like I belong in the complex, and slip a bag of frozen shrimp into the air intake vent. By the time they thaw and start rotting in Maine's spring weather, that car is going to smell like a fishing boat that's been sitting in the sun for a week. Then I leave a note under his windshield wiper. Hope you're enjoying the ride. It's about to get bumpy. I'm back in my truck and gone before they know what happened. That evening, Sloane comes home with a strange energy about her. Excited but trying to hide it. She's more affectionate than she's been in months, which tells me the afternoon went well for her and Derek. How was work? She asks, actually seeming interested in my answer for once. Same old. Poured concrete, yelled at subcontractors, counted screws. I keep my voice neutral. How about you? Any interesting properties today? A few promising leads. This market's really picking up. She's practically glowing. That's great, honey. You deserve success. The word honey feels like sandpaper in my mouth, but she eats it up. She even suggests we watch a movie together, something we haven't done in months. We settle on the couch with a bowl of popcorn between us, watching some romantic comedy she picked. But I'm not really watching the screen. I'm watching her, noting how she keeps checking her phone, how she smiles at messages she thinks I can't see. Around 10 p.m., her phone buzzes with what must be an urgent message, because she actually frowns. "Everything okay?" I ask. "Just a client with car trouble. Nothing serious." I nod sympathetically. Derek must have discovered his aromatic surprise. The next morning, I'm having coffee with Big Mike before the crew arrives, when my phone rings. It's Tasha, Sloane's friend from the real estate office, the one who enabled all of Sloane's networking adventures. "Eddie, I think we need to talk." This is interesting. Tasha has never called me directly before. "Sure, what's on your mind?" "Can we meet somewhere private? It's about Sloane." We agree to meet at a diner across town during lunch. I spend the morning wondering what angle Tasha's working. She's always been Sloane's closest confidant, so this feels like either a trap or a betrayal. The diner is nearly empty when I arrive. Tasha sits in a corner booth, looking nervous and stirring her coffee obsessively. "Thanks for coming," she says as I slide in across from her. "What's this about, Tasha?" She takes a deep breath. "I think Sloane's planning something. Something that's going to hurt you." I keep my expression neutral. "What kind of something?" "She's been asking weird questions about your finances, your drinking habits, your temper, like she's building a case for something." Tasha leans forward. "And she's been spending a lot of time with Derek Faust, the mortgage guy?" "Yeah, too much time, if you know what I mean." I let this sink in, playing the role of the shocked husband. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" "I'm saying you should protect yourself. Get a lawyer, maybe. Check your bank accounts." This is fascinating. Either Tasha genuinely cares about me, or this is part of some elaborate setup Sloane's orchestrating. Given what I know about my wife's planning abilities, I'm betting on the setup. "I appreciate you telling me," I say carefully, "but I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation." Tasha looks frustrated. "Eddie, you're a good guy. Too good, maybe. Don't let her take advantage of that." After she leaves, I sit in the diner for another 20 minutes, thinking. If this is part of Sloane's plan, it's actually pretty clever. Get her friend to warn me about suspicious behavior, make me paranoid and reactive. Then when I confront her or start acting jealous, she has evidence of my controlling nature. But if Tasha's being genuine, it means Sloane's inner circle is starting to crack. Either way, it's time to accelerate my own timeline. That evening, I stop by an electronics store and pick up a small digital recorder, the kind that looks like a pen. Then I drive past Derek's apartment complex. His Tesla is in the parking lot, and I can see him through his window, talking on the phone with animated gestures. I wonder if he's complaining about the smell. The annual neighborhood block party happens every Memorial Day weekend, and this year it falls perfectly into my plans. Sloane's been looking forward to it for weeks, a chance to network with potential clients and show off her success. She doesn't know that I've been looking forward to it too. The morning of the party, she spends 2 hours getting ready, trying on 3 different outfits before settling on something that screams successful professional, while still being appropriate for a backyard barbecue. "How do I look?" she asks, spinning in front of our bedroom mirror. "Beautiful as always," I say, and mean it. That's the thing that makes this whole situation so much worse. She is beautiful and smart and capable of being the woman I fell in love with. She just chose not to be. "Derek might stop by later," she mentions casually. "He lives in the neighborhood now, technically." Derek's apartment is actually 15 minutes away, but I don't correct her. "The more the merrier," I say. The party starts at noon in the Hendersons' backyard, which connects to 3 other yards to create a decent space for the whole neighborhood. Kids run around with water balloons, adults cluster around coolers full of beer, and Mrs. Finley from next door holds court near the dessert table, dispensing gossip with the efficiency of a news network. I work the crowd like I always do at these things, talking shop with other contractors, complimenting people on their home improvements, being the friendly neighborhood handyman everyone likes but no one really notices. Sloane does her own version of networking, moving from group to group with her real estate agent smile, dropping business cards like breadcrumbs. Around 2 p.m., Derek arrives. He's dressed like he's going to a country club, khakis and a polo shirt that probably cost more than my work boots. He makes a beeline for Sloane, who lights up like Christmas morning when she sees him. I watch them interact from across the yard. They're being careful not to seem too familiar, but there's an intimacy in their body language that's obvious once you know what to look for. The way she touches his arm when she laughs. The way he leans in just a little too close when he talks to her. Quite the golden couple, Gloria says, appearing at my elbow with a beer in each hand. They do make a striking pair, I agree, accepting the beer. Shame about his car, though. Heard it smells like a fish market. I nearly choke on my drink. Really? Yeah. Someone must have pranked him. Kids these days. She gives me a look that suggests she knows exactly who those kids might have been. By 3 p.m., most of the neighborhood is gathered in the Hendersons' backyard. Perfect timing. I pull out my phone and open the AirDrop function. I've prepared a little presentation, Sloane's 5-year plan document, along with a selection of her text messages with Derek. I've titled the file, The Real Sloane Harlow. AirDrop is a beautiful thing when you're surrounded by people with iPhones. I select everyone and hit send. Within 30 seconds, phones start buzzing all around the yard. People glance at their screens with curiosity that quickly turns to shock, then fascination. I watch the reactions spread through the crowd like ripples in a pond. Mrs. Finley's eyes go wide as she reads. The Henderson kid's babysitter gasps and shows her screen to her friend. Big Mike, who's been manning the grill, looks at his phone and then stares at me with something between admiration and horror. Sloane notices the change in atmosphere before Derek does. She's always been good at reading a room, and right now the room is reading her. What's going on? She asks the group she's been talking to. But they're all looking at their phones or looking at her with expressions she can't quite interpret. Mr. Callahan, her boss from the real estate office, approaches with his phone in his hand and a face like a thundercloud. Sloane, we need to talk, privately. That's when Derek's phone buzzes. He looks at the screen, and I watch the color drain from his face like someone pulled a plug. What is this? Sloane demands, but her voice has gone shrill. She's starting to understand that something has gone very wrong. Mrs. Finley, bless her gossipy heart, decides to help clarify the situation. Well, dear, it seems everyone just received some very interesting documents about your future plans. Quite detailed, really. Sloane spins around, scanning the crowd, and her eyes land on me. I'm leaning against the Hendersons' fence, beer in hand, watching the show with the mild interest of someone observing a mildly entertaining sporting event. Eddie, she says, and there's something in her voice I've never heard before. Fear, maybe, or recognition. Yes, sweetheart? How did... She can't seem to form a complete sentence. Did I what? I've been standing right here the whole time, talking to Gloria about fishing. I take a sip of my beer, though I have to say, the entertainment value of this party has really picked up. Derek tries to salvage the situation by approaching me directly. Look, Eddie, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding. Has there? I interrupt, because from where I'm standing, everything seems pretty clear. The crowd has formed a loose circle around us now, like spectators at a particularly dramatic street performance. Sloane looks around desperately, realizing that her carefully constructed image is crumbling in real time. This is private business, she announces to the crowd. I don't know how these documents got out, but they're taken out of context. Context, I repeat thoughtfully. That's an interesting word choice. What context makes planning to destroy your husband's life seem reasonable? She tries to slap me then, a desperate, angry swing that I catch easily by the wrist. Now, I say calmly. We're at a family event. Let's keep this civilized. Derek, apparently deciding that discretion is the better part of valor, starts backing toward the gate. But Big Mike, who's been watching this whole thing with growing amusement, casually blocks his path. Leaving so soon? Mike asks. Party's just getting interesting. And it really is just getting interesting. The aftermath of the block party spreads through our small Maine town like spilled paint on concrete, fast, messy, and impossible to clean up completely. By Monday morning, everyone knows about Sloane's 5-year plan and her affair with Derek. Mrs. Finley alone probably told 50 people before Sunday dinner. Sloane doesn't come home Sunday night, or Monday night. I assume she's staying with Tasha, though the GPS tracker I planted in her car shows she's been parked at Derek's apartment complex since Saturday evening. Tuesday morning, Mr. Callahan calls me directly. Eddie, this is Jim Callahan from Harbor Realty. I think we should talk. We meet at a coffee shop downtown, away from his office. Callahan's been in real estate for 30 years, and he has the weathered look of a man who's seen every kind of human foolishness the business can produce. "I'm going to be straight with you," he says after we've ordered. "I can't have this kind of drama associated with my agency." Sloane's suspended pending a review of her client files and financial records. "I understand. The thing is, some of those text messages mentioned moving money around, preparing for a transition. I need to make sure none of my client's funds were involved in whatever she was planning." This is interesting. I hadn't noticed any references to client money in the messages I'd seen, but maybe there were more I missed. "I hope you find everything in order," I say. "So do I." He stirs his coffee thoughtfully. "For what it's worth, I always liked you, Eddie. You did good work on my kitchen renovation 2 years ago." "Thanks, I appreciate that." After Callahan leaves, I sit in the coffee shop for another hour, watching the town go about its Tuesday morning routine. People I've known for years nod when they see me through the window. Some look sympathetic, others curious, a few seem almost admiring. I'm not sure how I feel about being the subject of so much attention, but I can't deny there's a certain satisfaction in knowing that the truth is finally out there. That evening, Derek shows up at my house. I'm in my workshop, organizing tools and trying to keep my hands busy, when I hear a car door slam in the driveway. Through the window, I see him walking toward my front door with the determined stride of a man who's made a very important decision. I let him knock 3 times before I answer. "Derek, this is a surprise." He looks terrible, unshaven, clothes wrinkled, eyes red-rimmed like he hasn't been sleeping. The smell of rotting shrimp still clings to him faintly. "We need to talk," he says. "Do we? Come on in, I guess." He follows me into the living room, but doesn't sit down. Instead, he paces like a caged animal while I settle into my recliner. "This has gotten out of hand," he begins. "Way out of hand." "Has it?" "Look, I know you're angry, and you have every right to be, but destroying Sloane's career, humiliating her in front of the whole neighborhood, that's going too far." "I consider this. Is it? She's lost her job, Eddie. Her reputation is ruined. People cross the street to avoid her." "That does sound unpleasant." My calm responses seem to be frustrating him. He stops pacing and faces me directly. "What do you want? Money? An apology? What's it going to take to make this stop?" "Make what stop?" "The revenge, the mind games, whatever this is." His voice cracks slightly. "She's talking about leaving town, starting over somewhere else. That might be for the best." "Damn it, Eddie, say something real. Stop playing games." I lean back in my recliner and study him. Derek Faust, mortgage broker, Tesla driver, homewrecker. Up close, he's smaller than he seems from a distance. Weaker. "You want me to say something real? Okay." I stand up slowly. "You and my wife spent months planning to destroy my life. You mocked me in text messages. You took pictures in my bedroom. You helped her strategize ways to take my house, my savings, my self-respect. You never meant to get caught." I take a step closer. "There's a difference." He backs up slightly. "What happened between Sloane and me, that's between us. But you've turned this whole town against her." "I didn't turn anyone against anyone. I just shared some information. People drew their own conclusions. Information you stole from her computer. Information she left open in my own kitchen." Another step closer. "In my own house. The house she was planning to take from me." Derek bumps against the wall behind him. "Look, I'm sorry, okay? We both are. It got out of hand." "Got out of hand." I repeat the phrase like I'm testing how it tastes. "You know what got out of hand, Derek? My wife's 5-year plan to milk me dry. That got out of hand. She was angry when she wrote that. People say things. She was methodical when she wrote that. She itemized my weaknesses like a grocery list." I'm close enough now to see the sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool evening air. "What do you want me to do?" he whispers. "I want you to leave my house. I want you to stay away from my wife, ex-wife, whatever she is now. And I want you to remember that actions have consequences." "Is that a threat?" I smile for the first time since he arrived. "Derek, if I wanted to threaten you, you'd know it. That's just friendly advice from one neighbor to another." He practically runs to his car. I watch through the window as he fumbles with his keys, starts the engine, and drives away fast enough to leave rubber on my driveway. Then I pour myself a beer and call my lawyer. The divorce papers arrive on a Thursday, hand-delivered by a courier who looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Sloane's filing for irreconcilable differences and seeking spousal support, division of assets, and temporary restraining orders. I have to admire her persistence. My lawyer, Janet Morrison, no relation to the construction project, calls me that afternoon. She's asking for a lot, Janet says without preamble. Half the house value, ongoing support, damages for emotional distress. Based on what grounds? Invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, something about public humiliation. Janet's voice carries a note of amusement. Her lawyer's creative, I'll give him that. And our response? Well, we have her documented plan to defraud you, evidence of adultery, and about 50 witnesses to her public admission of the affair. I think we'll be fine. That evening, I'm at the sandbar when Tasha appears at my elbow. She looks nervous, glancing around like she's afraid someone might see us talking. Eddie, can we talk outside? We step onto the bar's small deck overlooking the harbor. The sun's setting, painting the water orange and red. Sloane asked me to give you a message, she begins. I'm listening. She wants to settle this quietly. No more public drama. No more revenge games. She'll take half the house value and disappear. Disappear where? Derek has family in Florida. They're talking about starting fresh down there. I lean against the deck railing, considering this. And if I don't agree, she has evidence too. Photos of you following her. Records of you hacking her phone. Witnesses who saw you near Derek's car. Interesting. I take a sip of my beer. Anything else? She knows about the GPS tracker in her car. This doesn't surprise me. Sloane's many things, but stupid isn't one of them. Tell me something, Tasha. Are you here as her friend, or because she sent you? She has the grace to look embarrassed. Both, I guess. And what do you think I should do? I think you've made your point. Maybe it's time to let her go. I nod thoughtfully. You might be right. But I'm not ready to let go. Not yet. Friday night, I drive to Derek's apartment complex. His Tesla isn't in its usual spot, but Sloane's car is there, parked in a visitor space. The GPS tracker I planted weeks ago shows she's been here for 3 days straight. I don't get out of my truck. I just sit there for a while, thinking about the woman I married 8 years ago and the stranger she became, thinking about Derek and his Tesla and his dreams of Florida, thinking about 5-year plans and the difference between being nice and being naive. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This needs to stop. We're leaving town. Please just let us go. I type back. Have a safe trip. Then I delete the GPS tracking app from my phone. Saturday morning, I'm having coffee on my front porch when Mrs. Finley shuffles over from next door. She's wearing a bathrobe and slippers, carrying her own mug of coffee like she's planning to stay a while. Heard they're leaving town, she says without preamble. So I understand. Probably for the best. She settles into the chair beside me uninvited. Though I have to say, you handled this whole thing better than most men would have. Did I? Oh yes. No yelling, no violence, no dramatic confrontations. Just let the truth speak for itself. She nods approvingly. Very civilized. I try to be civilized. Of course, some people might say what you did was a little cold-blooded. I look at her. Mrs. Finley has lived in this neighborhood for 40 years. She's seen marriages begin and end, watched children grow up and move away, observed the small dramas that make up ordinary lives. What do you think, Mrs. Finley? I think she made her bed, she says simply, and now she gets to lie in it. That afternoon, I see Derek's Tesla drive past my house, loaded with boxes and suitcases. Sloane's car follows a few minutes later. I don't go to the window to watch them leave. I don't need to. Sunday morning, I wake up in my empty house and make coffee for one. The silence feels different now. Not lonely exactly, but clean, like the air after a thunderstorm has passed. I spend the day in my workshop, organizing tools and planning new projects. Big Mike stops by around noon with a six-pack and an update on the Morrison job. Heard they left town, he says, settling onto a workbench. Yep, how you feeling about it? I consider the question while I sort through a box of screws. Relieved, I think. It's over. Think they'll be back? No. Florida's a big state, plenty of room to start over. Mike nods and opens 2 beers, handing me one. So what's next for you? Same as always. Build things, fix things, try to do good work. That's it? That's enough. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, drinking beer and listening to the sounds of the neighborhood. kids playing, lawnmowers running, the ordinary soundtrack of a Sunday afternoon. Eventually, Mike leaves, and I'm alone again with my tools and my thoughts. I think about Sloane's 5-year plan and how it fell apart in 5 minutes at a block party. I think about Derek and his Tesla and his dreams of a fresh start in Florida. Mostly, though, I think about blueprints, how they start with an idea, get refined through planning, and eventually become something real and solid and permanent. Sloane thought she had a blueprint for destroying my life, but she made one critical error in her calculations. She underestimated what I was capable of building in response. As the sun sets on my empty house, I raise my beer in a quiet toast to the difference between planning and execution, between being nice and being naive, and between building something up and tearing something down. The house settles around me with familiar creaks and sighs. Tomorrow I'll start a new project, frame something from nothing, create something useful and strong. Tonight, I'm content to sit in my workshop, surrounded by the tools of my trade, and appreciate the solid satisfaction of a job well done. The blueprint for my revenge is complete, and the structure it created is exactly what I designed it to be: permanent, devastating, and perfectly engineered for the job it needed to do. Some things, once built, can never be torn down. Stworino, November 10th, 2025, 11 hours, 16 minutes, and 48 seconds.